Yeah. FBA dreams, FBM hustle, private label stacking muscle, intelliTALKS on the track. We on
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of intelliTALKS. And my guest for today is a very special friend of mine, Norm Farrar. Welcome, Norm. How are you today?
Hey, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. And yeah, for those that don't know Norm has been in the ecosystem with Amazon, and not only in e-commerce in general, for a long time. And yeah, I believe that the most important factor about Norm is that his beard knows things. He's also the host of Lunch with Norm, and also a co-founder and co-partner actually for the Marketing Misfits, right, Norm?
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's right.
please tell everyone a little more about yourself and yeah, what maybe something they don't know.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I've been in here a long time. Most people think I'm a fossil. So, but no, I can actually move. Yeah, I got started back in the late 80s, early 90s in promo marketing and just understanding the best way and most effective way to do business and understanding perceived value. So I've always had that. So I've had fulfillment centers. My family's had factories in Taiwan. We still have one in China right now. We've been into pretty much anything you can think of e-commerce wise. So we were into, or I was into e-commerce way back. I remember going to a seminar with this guy from the University of Waterloo is talking about the next step in the evolution of not BBSs, but this thing called www, the World Wide Web. And you sat there for 5 minutes as the image generated. We jumped in at that time. So we were way back, like very one of the early adopters. Yeah. And I used to, this is crazy, but I was telling somebody the other day, I got heavy into SEO. And what we did back in the day, this is before the first update, Panda, we would build a site and we would rent it out to people. So we would get page one on Google for charter fishing Florida. And then we'd go out and we find charter fishermen that were willing to spend X number of dollars to come on the website. And that sort of died after Panda and Pigeon and all those others, but it just got, too hard to do. But Amazon came around and we just jumped on that. And yeah.
And here we are today. Oh, well,
yeah.
I can relate to that, Norm. Actually, I've been also myself in the SEO part. Back when in Google you would build like a farm of that would
private, easily the private network.
Yes, and that would rank you fast on different keywords. So those were the good days. Now it's let's say a bit more tougher. Difficult.
But you know what? Like on that, and I think we might touch on it today, but this is the early days of the next step, which is AEO. So, people are doing search engine optimization, but if you're not in the LLMs, you're going to get lost. The early adapters are going to be the ones that are in there first and be able to change and do whatever is needed. And it's happening right now. So there's a lot of people that are thinking, I can do this tomorrow. Well, tomorrow's too late.
Yeah. Well, it's history repeating itself. So definitely anyone that's adopting now the AI optimization, that's definitely a huge step forward, and we're going to tap into this today in our discussion here with Norm. But Norm, let's start a little bit about talk about communities and the importance of communities, since that's our main theme here for the day.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite topics, and it's probably one of the underdeveloped topic. It's not really talked about that much, but community is just as important as anything else. It's probably more important than anything else, because if you don't have a community, you don't have sales. And right now, if you don't have, like I always say, authority equals trust equals sales. And that's where you build your community. So you can have, and I've seen this. Okay, so we've built a community of 750,000 people on Instagram. There's all different ways to build communities. And every day there's a illustration that goes out for cat lovers. Okay, so 750,000 people every single day get this this cat lover. Yeah, and we've also, and I should say I have little ownership in this. Okay, but I love it. I love the way that these guys operate. So not only do they do that, they put out a calendar. Now, because they have a community of 750,000 people who love these cartoons that go out every day about cats, one cat in particular, all of a sudden you've got this huge cash influx that comes in, right around this time of year, because they're looking for this cat calendar. And one other thing is that not only do they have the cat calendar, but anything you do, anytime you want to do a launch, you can go and leverage this group. What they also did is they created the second most downloaded GIF in the world right now. And last time I checked, it was in the billions of downloads, called Milton the Cat. And if you go and you check out Milton the Cat GIF, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. It's world famous now. And now you can take that, you could do print on demand, you can do whatever, and sell it into your community. So there's two different types of communities that you can build. One that is just a cat lover, but then because you've got the authority, now you can build another community about the brand. And you can have two separate communities. And a lot of people just, kind of, I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell. That's fine. Don't. But when you're putting information into a community, always value. And you can promote once in a while, but you can push the people over to your brand, which is selling, and it's expected to sell. People don't like, if they come into a community and they're bombarded with promotion. You see it all the time. Like LinkedIn, you get these people who you connect with, and all of a sudden they start selling you right off the bat. You need engagement, so that's trust, really important. There's all sorts of ways that you can start building communities. And I think one of the more important things is you have to understand your audience. Who is it? Where are you going after? Are you going after the broader niche, or are you going after a sub niche? Also important. But if you don't know who you're targeting and you don't know where your audience is hanging out, you're probably screwed right off of the bat because you don't know who to target. Right.
And I want to add something else, Norm. People are always buying stuff. So the fact that you do not want to sell to the community, that's also, from my side, it's a bit of a no-no, because at the end of the day, you need to sell them because they trust you, they follow you, they want to be with you. Maybe they desire maybe to have a mug with Milton the Cat, and you don't want to sell them. Someone else will do it. You don't want to sell them. So I don't see a problem there.
Absolutely right. And there could be, like, that comes from this big community, there could be other sellers in there. You might license out Milton the Cat, to somebody for print on demand. So there's all different ways that you can do it. But and you've got a newsletter, I've got a newsletter. In that newsletter, if you're constantly selling, well, guess what's going to happen? People are just going to unsubscribe. And I think both of us have seen growth in the newsletter because there's a lot of value in there. Like with ours, there's I think every newsletter has to have a USP. And if you're not doing that, then you're just another newsletter. So, with me, it's the personal story. I wrap it into a business lesson, and then we get into all these updates. But then, like a lot of people, I'm selling myself, and that might be a big mistake. So, it's lunch with Norm. It's not lunch with whoever. So I'm selling myself. I'm hoping people recognize me. And so we have little games in there called, Find the Beard. It's like a Where's Waldo, but
Yeah.
it's also tied in with really informative information. And we do have sponsorship in there, but it's all edutainment. People get information and they learn, and somewhere in there the sponsors are hidden, because you really don't want to be that newsletter that's just selling. It's taboo.
I totally relate to that. And also, for those who don't know, Norm is putting out nice, very nice and important materials there in the newsletter. So I'll make sure to include it in the description below for anyone that wants to subscribe and follow Norm. I'm also a subscriber, so I love the content. So
thank you.
Yeah, I rarely find the beard guy there in the crowd, but it's a good thing.
I know. It's always hidden. My son he does all of the newsletter, and I try to find myself, and I usually can't.
Yeah, 𝗍𝗫𝗃𝗃 is amazing. That hidden you there, hidden you. But so community is power, and value first. I totally go with that one, and I realized over the years, my short years in let's say in this industry compared to yours, Norm, of course, that you need to provide value, and eventually just get people to also maybe purchase something. If you have something good to sell, why not sell it? Try it. Never try, never know.
The other thing about community, so there's different angles that you have to come at it. We just talked about a newsletter. Well, you might have a website, you might have a podcast, you might have a WhatsApp group, and they all are interwoven. So, what we tell people is we want you to have a choice. Where do you want to hear about us? Do you want to hear about us on an audio podcast, a video stream, in our clips? Do you if you don't have time for us, here's a 3-minute clip, go to this site. Do you want to go into the WhatsApp group, take part in that? Do you want the Facebook page? Do you want the LinkedIn company page? So there's all different forms that if you want a piece of our community, and that's where you're communicating, that we could drive them over to that area. And so if you want to be as active and engaged as you want, great. If you just want to sit back and learn and do nothing, which I don't recommend, because you don't learn, but you get it your way.
Always. Yeah. And since most of our followers and audience here we're talking to Amazon sellers, to entrepreneurs, the community would translate to customers from my perspective. So this means trying to build up a customer database, try to reach out to them, emails, whatever. There are good ways and simple ways to get people out of Amazon. QoS compliant. There still are, right? I mean,
100%. Yeah. And just give me a shout out.
Cheers to that. And it's important to try to make the most of what you can, especially when you have a brand. You can have, like Norm has both a personal brand and multiple brands, right? So you're pretty much touching base on all of them. At the end of the day, it's a matter of choice. I don't think it's one is good and one is bad. They're all good. Just do it, like Nike says.
Yeah, and it becomes the authority. So your community is now the authority. And again, that goes to trust. Authority equals trust. And if you do have any sales, well, guess what? They're going to be looking for you, because you're the authority in the field, in the niche, and you're going to get the sales. And what's really funny, you get a halo effect, because all of a sudden you're associated with whatever you're selling. Well, all of a sudden you start to see sales. And that's the one thing, like on our podcast, what we tried not to do, we tried, like at the very beginning for years, nobody knew what I was selling. We never promoted our own products. We do a little bit of that now, just, hey, we have an agency. This is what we do. People ask us about communities and helping them with that. Press releases, might talk about that later. But all of a sudden, you're the authority on it. And people will ask in chat, hey, do you know anybody? Hey, well, we kind of do that, but here's 2 other people too to check out. So that's the other thing that you kind of get sales just being associated with the community. And the more you engage, you don't have to be the owner of the community either. I've seen people spin off and get their own community going, leveraging other communities by being an active participant. So that's something else that you want to consider as well. And by the way, here's something that if you're using this completely TOS compliant, but this is something we work with a knife company. And what they do is they have a QR code that drives people over to a landing page for a lifetime warranty. Okay, whoop-de-doo, but it's a lifetime warranty on a very expensive knife. But what this guy's done is he's gone to chefs around the world. He says, here's my knife. It's free. Just provide me with a recipe or two or a video, and I want to put it into a recipe book. And he's compiled almost 3 recipe books now. And what he's done is when people come over to build his community, he said, all right, come on over. We're going to give you a lifetime warranty, which right now only 1% of sales have ever come back to him on. And then we're going to give you a cookbook from chefs around the world, quality vetted chefs that you can try these interesting creations, recipes. Right. And we've created a 52-week meal plan for you. So every week, our brand is going to be in front of your eyes with your meal plan for the week. And we're going to tell you the exact amount of groceries you have to buy. Here are the recipes. And since this happened, we've got 7,000 emails. And from those 7,000 emails, we've been able to grow a community. Now, could we do a newsletter? We haven't. Yeah. Can you do email campaigns? Absolutely. And he's launched 11 different products since. And when you have 7,000 people in this email community, well, he doesn't have to discount in any, for the most part. And they, like, he'll go out to these 7,000 people and ask for a referral email. And if you do this, you can get this new knife. Oh, okay.
There you go.
It's so easy to build. It just takes a little bit of thinking outside of the box, especially like for emails and making sure that they actually are going to the inbox and not going to spam, which is a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
But there's so much you can do with a community.
Yeah, but definitely leveraging it is the first part. And Norm, the big question will be how to start. And yeah, you've mentioned also press releases. I want to tap into that, and also how they connect with AI so people understand. Let's start with the basics. Where to start from?
Okay.
I mean, you tapped into it, and it's sorry to interrupt. It's definitely a good way to get people, your customers, out of Amazon and try to just expand your lifetime value of the customer. Because most often, I say 99% of Amazon sellers out there are just spending that PPC for that one click that might potentially bring you that one sale, and then following for the next one and the next one. But that customer only purchased once, unless you have some, subscription-based models. But for other people that don't have that, it's definitely a huge advantage to get them into a community. I'm a fan of emails. I truly believe that, back in the days, it was people knocking on your door. They knew where you lived, so they were coming like that. Nowadays, emails are the safest because you can always reach to them. You always know where to find them, as opposed to social media where you have Facebook, you have Instagram. Sometimes that can, close down. And I personally experienced that when Instagram closed my account out of a stupid reason and try to fight them. You cannot win. So nobody can answer you. So emails, I believe they're the best. But this is my view. Yeah,
emails are great. I like to back up on that for a second, because one thing you should check, if you're sending out, and this is when you're building a community, you want to make sure that you're protecting your domain. So you never send out an email on your primary domain. Buy a secondary one and send it out from there. Then you want to make sure that you are getting into the person's email box. You can go onto Fiverr, you can find an email deliverability specialist, whoever it is, and just make sure. And we found out back in the days where 85% of our email were going to spam. 85%.
That's huge. Yeah.
So we changed around a few things. We made sure that the DMARC was set properly. So this is stuff you'll hear: DMARC, DKIM, SPF. These are the things that have to be set up properly. But once we got that set up, once we warmed it up, once we seeded it with a few email accounts, all of a sudden we turned it around to 85% going into the inbox.
There we
go.
So
if you're starting out your community and you don't know if that's happening, that's the first thing you should do. And you should validate your emails. So you might get a whole bunch of really bad emails. You might have bought a list that has spam bots on it, which are just going to cause you problems. So these are just a few techniques to utilize building your community off of an email, which is an excellent way to start and launch. But there's all sorts of others. And like I said, you've got to find out where your communities lie. I know, like with Kevin and I, Kevin King and I are partners. We have this lead generation group that we work with, and they're way back, old school SEO people, but they figured out a way that they can get off of Google. If somebody types in your niche, like, or a keyword within the last 2 weeks, that it'll put it onto a list, it'll scrape the email, and then it'll email them, and about whatever that product problem is. So there's all sorts of new things that are happening that you can create and generate a list without having to go and buy a list from some guy that might have a whole bunch of bad emails on there. But then from there, there's other ways, like the newsletter. If you can start putting out a good newsletter, if you can go and find newsletters that you could work with, sponsor, or even podcasts. So if you find a podcast in your niche, let's say you're in the pet niche, or specifically a small dog niche, you can go and you could sponsor that podcast for very inexpensive. Podcasts, at least 95% of them are very inexpensive. You can go and sponsor it, and you'll get leads from there. You can get leads from sponsoring, like we are in I'm not sure, I think you're 𝗶𝘁, right?
Yeah, 𝗶𝘁, yeah.
So 𝗶𝘁 offers a sponsorship program where you can monetize it, and you can pay per lead, like $1 a lead. You say what it might be $2. If people see that it's a good deal, you'll show up in their email or in their newsletter, and then you start to build your list. But
grow your community. Yeah.
Starting Amazon, getting like a good offer, thinking outside of the box, making sure those emails that you follow up and keep your brand in front of them, going over, starting that. It doesn't have to be the newsletter, but you can kind of think about it. And then what else can you do? Well, there's lots of things you can do now, like the podcast, for example. I probably think I'm probably one of the biggest Notebook LM users out there. I know Notebook LM like the back of my hand, and I use it for everything. So if I have a query, if I have something about cigars, for example, I'm a big cigar smoker. I love cigars. I can query something about, I want to write content. So I have something called the Nub Hub, and I'm just building out that app. It's all about cigars. And I wanted to know about lectors. And these are people that were in the cigar factories talking over the rollers so they could be entertained back in the day. And I want to write an episode about that. So Google Gemini goes out, finds it, and then it finds it imports the information, and then you could take that information as a source. You could take other information like YouTube videos, websites. You can import it into this one source, And then you could do what's called a study guide, which just kind of compiles everything into a course. Like, then you can get FAQs. Oh, what are the questions? Then you can create the interview that everybody knows about. But that interview you can download, and it's audio. Now you've got your own podcast. You can dive deep and get all these questions that you could put into your newsletter. So startup.club, if you check out startup.club, this is for businesses that are entrepreneurs. He's got a newsletter and he's got a podcast, and all of his newsletter is just about building a startup business. Well, then what do? You create a video. And so you do it all in Notebook LM. But we go one step further. We'll go in, we'll download it, we'll go to Descript. We take out all the ums and the ahs and, some of the dumb things that it just does still.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and at speaker 1, speaker 2. So let's say it's the female, and then there's the guy. Well, we go into Hey Jen, now it's me. And I'm talking to whoever I want to. So I just import a voice. Now we've got more content to go out there for your community. So the point for this, is that you can build up this podcast that's going to generate information. You can go and create your own newsletter from simply doing a Notebook LM. And it's so easy. You can't not have incredible content. So you can take it, and let's say you want to put out the newsletter and you want to write articles about what you're writing. It will generate that information for you. I always like to edit it, but it will do 100% of the push, which you really do have to read and make sure that it's edited properly. So that's a whole other prompt. But these are things that really help us out. We also talked about, like you talked about earlier, was a press release.
Yep.
So what's a press release? So people don't understand the power of a press release. I've been using them 20, 30 years. I bought a press release company because it was so effective. And Amazon sellers never understood the power. We probably had 20 Amazon sellers, maybe 30, that worked with us, and they saw that authority meant more than sales. You're not going to get traffic from a press release. You can get it, but it's not in the traffic like a Google ad or a Facebook ad. This is authority. When people go in, so I was on Helium 10 Elite, and I had a bully stick keyword. So I typed in 24 hours earlier this bully stick keyword. I used to sell bully sticks.
Nice.
And the information came up. So on the first page in Google with this keyword, first position was me, Amazon.com. Second position was me, Amazon.ca. Third position was me, Chewy. Fourth position was an influencer. Fifth position was a press release. Next, the whole slide carousel was me. And then the whole page was dominated by me. But when you looked at it, you saw press releases. Okay, that's not from me. I'm the authority. People saw like CNN or whoever it was, was there. Entrepreneur Magazine was there. Influencers that were that were pushing my product were there. Went to the second page. Everything was me except 2 more positions. I didn't go to the third page, but the third page showed me as 4 or 5 positions. Now, I don't know about you, but if you're looking for a keyword and you come up and you're solid, no competitors on the page, including, this is a whole other thing, Google Business Profile. Google Business Profile is there. Now you've got that, which is Google Search right now or Google Map. But you can do that. And here's the key. When you go into Amazon as a buyer and you're going and you're trying to find, I don't know, calculator. Okay. So you go in, you find a calculator.
Mm-hmm.
There's 10 calculators that look pretty much the same price point.
Right.
What are you going to do? You go to Google and you start looking for the brand. it's a micro brand. Nobody knows you. And you start looking. Oh, one's very inconsistent. They have a web page, doesn't quite look too good. It's pretty cheesy. The second one, oh yeah, that looks pretty good. They got social media. The third one, wow, they're in like all these authority magazines. If you have, and we'll talk about it in a second, Google Business Panel, a knowledge panel, holy crap. Now you got a whole different look to your authority. Who are they going to trust?
Right.
You. So that's where you get the sales, and that's where you start building the community as well.
Actually, we had a lot of clients that came and also with us. Just to say, I'm a huge fan of what you just mentioned there, Norm. So building a brand, building authority, going all the way. A lot of Amazon sellers are just, I have no problem with those who are selling pretty much anything under the same brand. It's perfectly okay. It's a brand, you put it out there. I like it from the niche perspective. So if you build a yoga brand, sell everything about yoga and take it to the moon and back.
Right.
It doesn't matter the competition, just stick with it. Build another brand for, I don't know, if you want to go into babies or whatever. But at the end of the day, you need to be everywhere. So people find you easily, that people trust you, and that's when the purchase magic happens. Because like Norm very well explained, Norm, that was amazing. This is how people think. They are looking for your brand, they're looking to find how legit you are. They're not looking to purchase from another, I don't want to sound bad, from another Chinese seller, but some of their products are bad, some of them are good. Never know, but they will always trust a brand that's been on Entrepreneurs or into Forbes, into different magazines that have power and are showcasing your brand, your products in front of everyone. That's real power in the industry.
Yeah.
So, Norm, how do people get themselves there?
Well, one of the things that you can do if you're an authority, when I'm building authority, I look at 3 levels: your profile, your brand, and your company. So you kind of want to nail all of those profiles. But the very first thing you can do is go and get Google to verify you. And that's called the Google Knowledge Panel. And once you go there, it's a bit of a process. Not so much for you, it's just a wait time, but you've got to really show that you're an authority in the process. So if you have any social media that is talking about whatever you're selling or whatever you're promoting or the service, they want to see that. So they will not give you, this is all manually done. It's not automated, but you have to hold up your picture, your passport, and then it was 3 to 5 days, but they probably are a lot quicker now. Then you'll get, you'll know that somebody's verified when you're typing in, like, let's say you type in my name, Norm Farrar, Amazon, Norm Farrar, whatever. You'll see my image pop up in the search. So where the autofill is, where there's the drop down, where you can see all the other Norms, Norm Farrars, whatever it is, but you'll see me with a picture, and it'll say entrepreneur or it'll say podcaster, depending on the panel that I got approved for. And then when it searches, you get this incredible panel of images, videos, who you are, what your business is, all of your information, where you can delete people that are there. Let's say there's another Norm Farrar. I can get rid of them. All I have to do is let them know, and they'll just delete it off my panel. Then that's a starting point. But imagine this. Once you have Google Knowledge Panel, then you can expand that to Google Knowledge Graph. It's been around for a while, but what that does, it associates you with whoever. And for us that have podcasts, it's great because let's say, Marcel, we took a picture in Turkey. Yeah. Okay, now we're on a podcast together. Because there's 2 links, now we're linked together and followed, and it becomes part of the web. And somebody's coming in.
No, it's okay.
Going away.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you build this web because now I'm associated with you.
Yeah.
Then it spreads out with followers, and you can create this massive web. Now within that web, like this is the way that I did it. I went out and I tried to figure out who can I be associated with what niches. And so like you've got the Ryan Dices of the world, you got the 𝗵𝗶𝘀𝗋s, you got Kevin King, and then you can associate and you can build it out. And then there's people that are associated with them that you might meet at a conference or that they follow now that become associated with you. It becomes a very powerful web. And the more that you build it out, the more you become the authority. So for example, I had search results, 440,000 before I did this.
Well, yeah.
I have 5.5 million now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's crazy because Google, and it's recognized by Google. So it's something that very few people do.
Priceless.
Yeah. And also, then you've got the Google Map or Google Search, Google Business Profile, all the same kind of thing. But you put all that information in there, you leverage that, and you start posting images through there. That's associated with what you're doing. And now you're building up a community, so people can find you. Oh, one thing I should mention about the press releases too is we're going into a new age, the last 3 years, with LLMs. And as they evolve, we want to make sure that we can get in there. We started to, like ChatGPT a few weeks back, started talking about their shopping cart. And, Perplexity already does that. You search and they have an affiliate set up with whatever you buy. So smart on them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you want to be in there. So how do you get in there? Well, first, and also in Google AI summary. So how do you do that? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Press releases. Press releases. Like I did one for a guy the other day, and within an hour or two, he got into AI summary. I didn't even check, but they reached out to me and said, have you checked all the LLMs? If you search me, like if you search whatever they were doing, right? This was a book launch.
Yeah.
They're number one everywhere. Every single LLM, major one, I think there was 5 that we checked. Within 5 hours, they were the number one in the search.
That's amazing. So that translates to Amazon sellers for ChatGPT to talk about your product and provide it in front of people that are chatting with ChatGPT, which is another source of traffic and customers. Why? Because that's the trust that ChatGPT is carrying and all the other LLMs out there in terms of providing an answer. When you type there, I need a drilling machine, buy from this brand. This is like 1, 2, 3 brands that you can buy from. If one of the brands is yours, there we go. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. So this is what Norm can definitely help with. We already had a chat back before the getting into the podcast. I have my song Boxes and Dreams, which I want to get it out there. So we launched it on the 2nd of August. It's been there for a few months, 3 months, like that. And looking forward to getting in even more visibility. We've passed 22,000 views on YouTube. Yay! Thank you, everyone. So that's something. Yeah. And Norm, this has been amazing for all the information, and everything has been priceless. Tell people what you have prepared extra for the audience, for everyone that's listening and watching intelliTALKS.
Sure. So I noticed years and years ago, that people would go out to blog article writers, find somebody on Fiverr. They would see press release writer, and most of the time it was garbage. It's not written properly. Especially if you want to get ranked and be optimal, there's certain formats that you have to follow. Well, we've been doing this for many years. And if you want, we'll have our team professionally write you a press release. You'd have to just give us your main link. You'd have to give us some company information, social media, your topic, maybe a couple bullet points, and then we'll create it all for you and deliver it to you. You can go wherever you want to distribute it, but if you're interested in distribution, we can give you 2 different types of distribution. One's a light distribution, which will still get you out there and hopefully on the LLMs, but we can't guarantee it. But you'll get distribution, which can start you all off. And that's $199. Regularly, it's $299. And then we have another version, which is our Cadillac, which usually goes for $1,500 with other press release services. But we sell it at $799, and we can do it for $599 for you. And that goes out to all the major news outlets, content, all the content outlets, journalists, bloggers, influencers, periodicals, and also Google News and the LLMs. So
that's amazing and priceless at the same time. Thank you for the discounts for everyone that's watching us, Norm. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
and,
no problem at all.
For anyone and everyone that wants to reach out to Norm, make sure you email here, norm@amz.club.
Not .com, because you're going to go to Amazon, but
Not
amz.club.
There we go. Club equals community. So that's
also actually that's the whole reason. I do a lot of my domains are .clubs because I want them to feel like people come in. It's a community.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. I love that idea, Norm. And yeah, people, everyone, just make sure you follow up on this one, and I will be providing all the information in the description as well. If any questions arise, please feel free. I'll reach out to Norm if you have some specific information, or definitely you can reach out to Norm via email. Norm, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for the valuable information shared today. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you again somewhere in the world.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it and appreciate you. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and have a great day ahead. Bye.
In the grind, this one's for you. Keep the dream alive, keep pushing through. From the first shipment to 1 million streams, we all got here chasing boxes and dreams.